Okay, we just ran out of our electric miles and we just got 45 and a half miles on the sports mode. So that is almost 5 miles less than the other mode, the regular mode. So not a big difference, I think the biggest difference would be if you drive in a city where you really accelerate really fast. So not a big difference. We have 118 miles more to go to our destination, so we are on all gas now. We just fill up the tank. We were half empty. We filled up for how much is $17?
$17 Canadian.
$17 Canadian for half a tank. It takes me like $9 to fill up a whole tank in Jersey. Anyway, so however, the fuel tank is reading 314 miles. I guess it's recalibrating. So again, it can make the 420 miles if we empty it all the way, but it doesn't matter. We're gonna see what's gonna be the MPG when we get to Kingston. Okay, I am driving, as you see. She finally let me drive. We are 15 miles away from Kingston, and so far we drove total of 152 miles, averaging 57.9 miles per gallon. Like I said before, 45 and a half for electric and 107.1 is gas, and we spent a total of 2.54 gallons of gas so far. So let me just tell you about the ride in sports mode on the highway. Basically you don't feel too much the difference, only when you want to accelerate. Here it is, I'm going to accelerate now. So the engine revs up much more than it would if it was in the standard mode. If you coast like I am now, I'm coasting on 70 miles an hour, so it's not different. Once you try to accelerate on the spot, you feel the big difference in the engine going revving. So I predict there will be a little bit less miles per gallon in this mode than in the standard mode, but the big difference is the ride quality when you need to accelerate. The engine looks like it works much harder to get going. So I think we saw so far on the road. What route are we? 401?
Yeah.
401 East. Here's one. We saw 10 million of these campers. Every other car is a camper. Everybody in Canada is camping. So our destination is Kingston. We're going to be there in 13 miles. Here's an old car. It's like Back to the Future. And then hopefully we can find a charging station there. That'd be nice. And that's it for now. We got into our room at the Hilton Inn, no, the Holiday Inn. Nice room. And this is the view. We have a little balcony. Look at that. And this is the St. Lawrence River. Here's a boat where people take a boat ride. And look what I found. Humongous farm of wind turbines. Look at that. I'll make it closer. Look. Hundreds of them. All over, all throughout this line. Wow. That was great. So we're going to be here for only one night, unfortunately. But then we'll go back we continue to Quebec City, which is a very nice place. All right. We are back. I am the driver now, and she is the navigator. We have a 340 miles drive from Kingston to Quebec City. It's going to be a long one. We have a couple stops. We are now averaging 45.5 miles per gallon on a combination of, no, I'm sorry, I take everything I said back. We're averaging 54.6 miles per gallon. 45.5 is electric, and 126 miles are gasoline. Spent 3.17 gallons of gas so far. So what I'm going to do is I am going to say that when we get to Montreal, we'll have almost 500 miles on a combination of the last charge and the electric. So we'll see what we get in that sports mode that we talked about, and I think that will be the last experiments that we do. So we had the experiments of full electric and gas on regular mode, then we had only gas, which gave us about 40 miles a gallon, and now we're back on gas and electric, but in a sports mode. So I think that the numbers will be exactly as we predict, 40 to 45 miles per gallon on gas, close to 50 on a combination of two, but depending on how many total miles, the more miles you go, the less we have. So what did you think about Kingston, my dear?
Very nice.
Very nice. Very nice. Nice front city, nice good restaurants, boat rides if you like it. It's a really nice place. Highly recommend. As a stop between Montreal and Quebec if you don't want to do the whole ride. How many hours does it say to get there?
5.
5 hours. If you do it straight from Montreal, it's almost 8 hours, so that's a bit much. Okay, we'll report from Quebec. All right, we are about 20 miles from Quebec City. We drove a total miles of 488 from Toronto the other day to Kingston yesterday to here, and we are averaging 43.5 miles per gallon, and the car just hit 12,000 miles. We left the house with 11,000 miles, so we drove 900 miles, and I think we have, how many from Quebec to the house, to home? 300 and so miles. So we will be driving, like I predicted, about 1,200 miles, the whole thing. So the verdict is very simple, really is very simple. This car, there's very little difference between standard mode and sports mode on the highway, unless when you sudden acceleration, it's the same thing. It's actually the same thing with the Tesla when I drove it. It's just, it's not big difference. It's the biggest difference in these modes. It's in a city, like when you take off. That's a big difference. So it's basically you get between 40 and 45 mpg on gasoline, and maybe a tad more. Actually, a lot more when you have a combination. But let's say up to 200 miles. Once you pass the 200 miles, then it starts to really go down. See right here, it shows you the green is the 45.5 miles that we did, but that's out of almost 500 miles. So it's basically mostly gasoline miles. So it's really true to what it say it is. We spent about 2.5 tanks of gas since the beginning in this 900 miles. A tank is 9 gallons in this car, so it's about 8, maybe 22 gallons of gas. So the average is exactly what they say it is, and it's a pleasant car. Now on the way home on Thursday, we will do a 12,000 miles review. I will be the photographer, and Honey will be the one who is gonna do the review, because she's the one who drives it most of the time. So see you at Quebec. Okay, look what I found. I found a Nissan Leaf in the middle of Quebec, down in the old city. I think it's the second Nissan Leaf I saw in Canada so far. And I saw a couple Teslas. But that's it. There's a Nissan Leaf. Villa de Quebec. Pour voulez-vous? Alright. So it looks like a government car. Some kind of a government car. Okay. By the way, Quebec is the most beautiful city in North America. Wow, what a beautiful city. Oh, there she is. Say hi.
Hi.
How do you like Quebec?
Love it.
Love it? How's the coffee here?
Delish.
Okay, we are in this beautiful boutique hotel à Dolion, which means the two lions. Here's line 1, and here's line 2, and here's the entrance. Basically a big house that has many units right in the uptown of Quebec. And we got here last night, afternoon, I would say late afternoon, maybe 5 or 6. And they told me to park my car in the garage, and so I did. And I'm looking at my app to see if there are charging stations, when I discovered this little outlet right here, little outlet. So I asked if I can charge the car, and I did, and it's now fully charged, and I'm so happy. Thank you, Adolion. We recommend the place highly. Great breakfast, great food. Okay, where are we, Beth?
We are at the Montmorency Falls, outside of Quebec.
And they feeding into what river?
The St. Lawrence.
Now, what's the source of the water? I guess it's the mountain, it's the snow mountain, I guess. So what's so special about them? They are taller than the Niagara Falls, right?
I guess.
But they're not wide.
No.
So we are probably almost, I would say, 500 yards away, and you can really feel the mist. You can go all the way on top of the mountain, on this cliff, on steps. There is, I don't know if you can see to the right, a little bit to the right, you can see the rock climbing people, so you can rock climb it. There's a bridge on top, you can walk over the falls, and there is a cable car, 2 cable cars going up and down. It's really a beautiful place, and we found out that Quebec has a lot of hydropower plants, and they sell electricity to the United States. Should be the other way around, but that's another topic. It's really beautiful. Awesome, love it. Morning again. Last day of our epic trip, honey. We are leaving Quebec. It's raining cats and dogs, so it's a good thing that we're leaving. The weather was excellent for us, but now it's bad, but we don't care because we're leaving. So we have 518 miles to home. I thought it was 350. Who told me that information? You did.
I think it was to Montreal.
Anywho, so our total mileage will be 1,400 miles on this trip. So I have to say the car performed extremely well, really, very well, and you know, and
You need to concentrate.
I'm concentrated. Don't worry, I'm the electric Israeli. I can do both. And
Make a left up here.
make a left, I know. And then I would say for the gas mileage is very simple, very simple. It's between 40 to 45 miles per gallon on all gas, and it's between 50 and 60, let's say, if it's gas and electric on, let's say, on 200 miles. Once you pass the 200 miles threshold, after you ran out of your 50 miles electric miles, then by the time you get to 200 you're still averaging 55, whatever, 60, but then it goes down and eventually gets to be 40, 45. We average 45 most of the time. So it's really, it is, sorry for the jumping, it is what it say it is. We had a great trip. We didn't show you very little sightseeing because my channel is not a traveling channel, it's about electric driving. Now we did see lots of Teslas. We just saw another one this morning. We see 3 and 4 Leafs, and we saw, and that's it. We saw 1 Volt. 1 Volt we saw, but that's it. In addition to our Volt, we saw a different, because our Volt doesn't count because we're not from Quebec. My wife is mortified. Anyway, so that was the trip. I'm going to soon do a 12,000 miles review on the car, but that's going to be in a separate video. So please watch this video and watch the 12,000 miles video that I'm going to do as soon as we get out of the city, and when we reach 30,000 feet in a cruising altitude. So thank you for watching our long trip, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I need more subscribers, and share it if you'd like. And don't forget, we'll change the world one
electric car at a time.
electric car at a time. So long, everybody.